just happened, guys? Oh my lord. Everything's just dumping as we speak, right? Especially XRP, because it did go up a lot, right? But at this point, you shouldn't sell, not financial advice, because I do believe around this region, it's gonna hold as support. It's just basically retesting support. I don't want to talk about XRP's price right now, because there's something even more strange happening in Bitcoin land. Okay, but again, do not sell. Not financial advice. Look at this from David Tracy. Something strange is going on in Bitcoin land. Two whales have now sold their entire stacks from 2011. Right? This just happened the other day, guys. I don't know about the second whale, though. On July 18th, a Bitcoin whale sold all the 80,000 Bitcoin for about $10 billion, right? Which he bought at 2011 for $54,000, guys. So that whale got activated just recently, right? And people are like, exactly. So why did they sell right now, right? When Bitcoin is basically at an all-time high. I'm not saying we're topping at all, because I do believe there's more room to go up, but it's still strange. I think it's because they need exit liquidity, so they're manipulating it, all these cryptos to go up, guys, right? So they could sell it off instead of dumping prices heavy. I was thinking that too. The one guy, 46K, sold for 9 billion. Why not 1 to 2 billion? Right? Maybe it has something to do with the legislation that just passed. Exactly. Why sell now? Both of them. Now, I don't know the second whale, though. I'm not quite sure of the second whale. Holding for 14 years is pretty insane, isn't it? Why now, though? Right? Why not a billion, and why not two of them and why not two of them in 2 weeks? This comes from Mr. Vix. Who in their normal mind would have the nerve and disposition to not take a single penny of profit through multiple cycles over 14 years and then all of a sudden decides to exit all at once? Right? This question is bothering me a little more than it should, but it is. That's what we talked about before, guys. Bitcoin, if you look at the chart, right, overall chart in all of its history, the guy bought Bitcoin literally here, guys. Literally at this region. It's lagging. He literally bought Bitcoin right here before 2012 struck, when Bitcoin was at under $1, right? Pennies. For 54K, okay? Which is basically nothing. And then he sold literally right here at the Pico top. Will it be a top? I don't know. But I don't think it will, though, right? I don't think it will, because looking at XRP, that's why I believe it won't be a top. Just because it hasn't still created those bearish divergences which we're looking to, right? Now I'm going to be talking about XRP's charts in another video, because we actually did call this move, right? I literally have the proof of it, which I posted a couple days ago. And I did say they're going to play some tricks, right? So after this is complete, I think we still go to like $5 minimum. But then we'll figure out what's going on. But the Bitcoin whale bought all the way, literally, look at this, guys, right back in 2011 for under $1, okay? And he just sold here. The crazy part is he had to hold through the ups and downs. Do you understand? All like this volatility is absolutely mind-boggling, guys. Okay, there were 90% drops, by the way, and he still didn't sell. He still didn't sell when there were 90% drops. Like, look at this. Imagine going from 1,000 Bitcoin, right, all the way down to like 200, and he still didn't take a single penny out of it. But he only did right here, right? Either he had insane conviction, guys, and he knew the future, or he was an insider, right? And he's selling because maybe in the months to come, not right now, there's going to be a major black swan event that nobody's paying attention to. I do feel like still there's a black swan event that's going to tie into a recession in like the season of fall. Not right now. I still think we go higher, right? And I'm going to bring evidence in one of the next videos here. But for now, let's talk about what's happening here. Ryan says, strong evidence for NSA and CIA control, right? My suspicion has definitely grown after this. Exactly. Right? Somebody, I mean, he could have just completely forgot about it, but perhaps not, because this was just after the Genius Act passage, right? And remember, he didn't just take a little bit out, he fully cashed out. Here's another one. UK plans to dump seize Bitcoin. Okay, now Rachel Reeves eyes 5 billion pounds Bitcoin sale to help plug black hole. So basically, Chancellor Rachel Reeves may sell 5 billion plus in Bitcoin seized from a 2018 Chinese Ponzi scheme, including 61,000 Bitcoin. Wow. So governments are looking to sell as well, guys, right? That's again, something strange is definitely brewing. And remember what we said, you have to follow the money, right? It doesn't matter about narratives. What matters is about, are whales selling off? That's a check mark. Next, are governments selling off? That's loading possibly, okay? And then, is Satoshi selling? Is the real question. If Satoshi were to get activated, guys, that's the major red flag. So right now it isn't, right? This is why I'm saying Bitcoin is completely shady, guys. I would rather hold XRP than Bitcoin. Did the United States government just sell 170,000 Bitcoin worth $20 billion? No. So at least the United States government is holding strong as we speak. Now, Justin, entrepreneur Robert Kiyosaki warns that bubbles are about to burst, predicting gold, silver, and Bitcoin will crash alongside other assets. So now, Rich Dad Poor Dad is suggesting, hey, there could be another crash looming, right? I don't know his track record, if it's good or not, but I mean, he's wealthy, most definitely. So he probably knows what he's talking about. And here comes Jim Cramer, the contraindicator. He says he wants to own Bitcoin and Ether for his kids because it's a hedge against United States national debt. This, by the way, comes right before the sell-off. Okay? Like, this is just mind-boggling, right? These are insiders. He basically gets everything correct in the wrong direction. You understand this, right? And now he's saying he didn't include XRP. We're going to play this video. But what's fascinating, he says he wants to own Bitcoin and ETH for his kids, right? For the decades, years to come. Not XRP. Very shady. I would stay away from both Bitcoin and ETH because you don't know when they're going to pull the rug, right? I still believe they're going to pump these assets most definitely before the collapse, but who knows when that'll be. It could happen literally at any night. Let's watch this video.
Own some as a hedge against the $37, $8 trillion. They want to own it debt. They want to own it for their kids. And you know who else feels that way? Me. I don't want that debt. My kids. I'm worried about my kids. Worried about your kids? 38 trillion?
Yeah, we all do. Yeah. We all do. So in so many different ways.
Why don't you buy some Bitcoin or ETH? Buy some ETH. Own some.
Interesting. Talking about the debt, guys. Right. Which suggests there may be a collapse that's imminent. Not right now, imminent as in tomorrow, guys. I'm thinking by next year it will happen, not right now. But again, very shady. He suggests only 2 coins, right? Which are supposedly the safe haven assets in the crypto community. Here's another one. USDT will have to come onshore United States in the next 3 years. David Sachs breaks down stablecoins and United States dollars, right? Don't forget about USDT here.
Involved in it seems to have an understanding of the value of stablecoins for the US dollar. That seems to be a key motivator for this being bipartisan. You got twice as many Democrats as you thought you would get. Is that because people want to make sure that dollar supremacy gets locked in and stablecoins is a way to do that? Because you can't have a stablecoin unless it's backed by a dollar.
Yeah, I mean, like I've talked about on the show before, it shouldn't be that hard to sell regulation to Democrats. I mean, what we're doing here is providing a regulatory framework for the industry. They didn't have one before, and that's why the #1 stablecoin player in the world right now is an offshore entity. They will have to come onshore as part of this bill in the next 3 years. So what we're doing here is creating a regulatory framework. But the reason why it's substantially bipartisan is because the industry wants this regulation because they want the stability it gives them.
What we stated, this is like a double-edged sword, right? Because Tether would then have to come and basically be audited. Now, what's interesting is that Tether makes a move on United States markets. Tether plans to bring USDT to the United States under the Genius Act and launch a new United States-based stablecoin. right? So Tether's like, yeah, we're not gonna let you guys audit our reserves for holding USDT, but instead we'll bring upon a new stablecoin for your market, so you guys don't have to worry about Tether, okay? And we can still have a grasp of the United States cryptocurrency market, okay? So basically, America will be safe because Americans will buy this coin since it will be audited, right? The stablecoin, but the rest of the world will not be, because when it does implode, it's going to take everything down with it, right? We're going to be talking about our LUC in just a sec.
Them in terms of having that legal authorization. They want to make sure that if, 4 years, 8 years from now, 12 years from now, whatever, there's not some new Gary Gensler who comes in and turns the whole industry upside down because he doesn't like some aspect of what they're doing and he just starts prosecuting them, which is what the industry experienced over the past 4 years with Biden's war on crypto. So we, meaning the Trump administration, could fix the Gensler issues just with agency rulemaking, and we're certainly on that path to do that. But if you want long-term stability that goes beyond just this administration, you have to get legislation. That's why the industry was so interested in getting these bills passed. So I think that's why you're seeing some bipartisanship here. Like Bo said, I do think that there's a substantial number of Democrats who understand that this technology is the future, and it's a positive thing for the U.S. What could be bad about allowing digital dollars, which extends the dollar's dominance online, so that it basically bolsters the dollar's status as the world's reserve currency? Over time, as we get challengers from BRICS, for example, this is going to make the US dollar stronger. And every time a dollar token trades somewhere in the world in a crypto wallet, there has to be a physical dollar in a US bank account invested in a US treasury. And that creates demand for our debt, which is another positive thing. And there have been studies done that show that the result of this bill could be trillions of dollars of new demand for our debt, which is only a positive thing.
Yes, but which stablecoins will make it through, right? Perhaps our LUC. Regulatory oversight for equal United States, U.S. states or other regulator strong record, right? That's our LUC. Let's see where USDT here is. About 3.5. U.S. states or other regulator limited record, right? Look at that. And then coming here, our LUC, regulated by New York Financial Departments of Financial Services. USDT, nationally regulated in El Salvador with a limited regulations track record. So regulatory clarity is beginning to solidify through frameworks like the Genius Act, and with it, compliance expectations are likely to increase, right? So I think maybe perhaps that's why these whales sold off, guys, and all in one swoop, right? They didn't even sell slowly. They're gone. They just took their money, literally billions of dollars. So they know what's upcoming. That's why you should stay away from Bitcoin, even though I do believe they're going to manipulate to go higher, right? Until the day it doesn't. So this isn't financial advice. Let us prepare and do not sell right now because I believe we go higher. But anyways, that's what for me. See ya.